Just a little bit of a pain in the butt. All right, I'm not quite ready yet, everybody. So if you're here now, my apologies. I have to just set my computer up real quick. I want to check my audio. Just a little bit of a pain in the butt. No. All right, I'm not quite ready yet, everybody. So if you're here now, my apologies. I have to. I don't like the way I'm framed. I'm just trying to fix it. How's that? Check the audio. All right, audio sounds good, so I'm gonna mute my computer now, and I'm just waiting to see. I frame myself on the computer. I just want to see how it looks. See if I'm in frame because it drives me crazy if I'm not. I think we're okay. Alright, so I'm going to share this out to everybody, so give me a minute, guys. Like I said, I'm not quite ready, and if you see this on a later date, none of this will be in the live stream anyway. Alright. I should be able to share this to everyone. So what I like to do is invite friends and people I talk to all the time, so I'm hoping to grab everybody. If I miss you, I apologize.
My name is Matt Pinella with Pinella Construction.
Yeah, you guys usually don't see this after I do the live stream because I edit the beginning out. But what I want to do is at least get these links out to people. And then I have some stuff set up here on my computer so I can send some stuff out to everybody. For some reason, I see people typing stuff, but the live chat's not loading, so my apologies if I'm not responding yet, but we're supposed to start at 7 anyway. I just want to make sure, out of respect, I like to send everybody notifications that I talk to, and I don't want to miss anyone. I think I got everyone. Maybe. If you didn't get a notification from me, I apologize. One of these days, I'm going to have to get a better live stream camera setup. All right. All right, it's just about 7. The only reason I'm pointing that out is because on a later date, if anyone's watching this, they will know I haven't started talking yet. Alright. I think I like my lighting, right? What do you guys think? Lighting looks good. I like the blue in the background. I think I'm lit well enough. It's going to get dark soon, so... Hey, what's going on, Andrew? It's going to get dark soon, so if it gets darker, I do have some extra lighting. So I'll try and keep an eye on the chat. So if I'm getting dark and you guys can't see me, I'll try and brighten things up. You know, I feel like an old man sometimes because I have a hard time figuring out how to do emojis and like face pictures and stuff like that on phones, and my wife makes fun of me all the time. All right, so I guess another thing. Do I need the lighting now? Let me see here. I don't know if I need this bright lighting now. I'm waiting to see. There's a delay on my computer, so I'm waiting to see what I look like to you guys to make sure the lighting is better or needed. I kept putting live streams out there that I was testing all my lighting and stuff. So I always want to give you guys the best. So that's like a lot of light now. I tell you what, I'm gonna turn the light off, and then if we need it later, I'll turn it back on. It's like a lot of light. Thank you. I appreciate that, Andrew. By the way, if you guys don't want me to use real names, just let me know. But I usually ask everybody ahead of time if it's okay, and I know he's okay with it, and I really appreciate you donating. Donating is a huge help. Um, basically, whenever anybody comes on my chat, what I like to do is right off the bat, if you're someone new, if you have a question you want to ask, literally ask anything. I don't care what it is. I'm pretty much an open book. If it's something I'm not comfortable with, I just won't answer the question. If it's something that might get me in trouble on YouTube, I won't answer the question. But pretty much everything everyone asks, I usually answer. So I don't care what it is. Favorite color, favorite movie, whatever. In fact, some of the questions I have in front of me that I'm going to be answering today pertain to like movies and stuff like that too, which I thought would be kind of fun. So what I'm gonna do is I like to start a subject. So I always have a subject for every one of my live streams. So I'll talk about the subject. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them, and then I'll stop. I'll answer your questions and go back to the subject. So it doesn't show me everyone is watching. It just shows me a count. So uh, if you're here and you're waiting for a question that you submitted, just comment so I know you're in the chat. But what I'll do is I'll answer questions, and then later on, if I see you pop up, I want to see if you heard the answer. If not, I'll answer it again for you. So I had so basically I have a couple questions in front of me that I'm gonna read off, and then what I'm gonna do is answer the questions like I would be if it was a live chat. Um, okay, so here's one. So I've had a couple people talk to. Well, so someone submitted a question. I had a couple people talk to me this week about like exhaust systems. In fact, even today I was talking about exhaust systems. So I don't know if that's going to be the live stream's focus today, but I'm just going to talk about it because it's in front of me. So basically with exhaust, exhaust basically depends on what kind of horsepower you have. So for example, let's say you have a car that's a 1 liter engine. Hey, what's going on? I'm glad you came. Thank you. Uh, so let's say you have a 1 liter engine and you have a 3 inch exhaust on it, right? Just a crazy big exhaust, and you go make the exhaust a 4 inch. You'll actually probably lose horsepower. So a lot of people think A, because a car is loud, or B, because you take a muffler off, it's going to make it faster or give it more horsepower. But in some cases, and actually a lot of cases, you lose horsepower, or you move the horsepower range. So what happens is, like, let's use a Chevy Cruze for example, and people may argue differently than what I'm going to say, but if you have a Chevy Cruze, it's a 1.4 liter engine. I believe the exhaust in some areas is like 2.5 inches. If you count like I'm not going to count like the muffler, which could be like a 6 inch in diameter, or like a catalytic converter, which might be 7 inches in diameter. Let's just talk about the pipe work. So the pipe work is roughly 2.25 inches. In some areas, it's actually choked down to about 2 inches. So going up to like a 2.5 inch exhaust would probably help the car a little bit. Um, Going up to like a 3 inch exhaust might help the car a little bit, but really what's going to happen is it's just going to make the car louder, and it's going to change the torque range from maybe down low to maybe up a little bit higher. So what ends up happening is really freeing up the exhaust from restriction. So the larger diameter pipe doesn't help as much as like doing work to like the headers or catalytic converters. Now I can't specifically explain what you should do to a catalytic converter, but if you're a car guy, you kind of know, you kind of catch my drift, because I don't want to get in trouble with the EPA. Really, those are the big restrictions. So like diameter on the exhaust doesn't really matter. If you're just after sound, don't worry about doing like the whole exhaust system from the head all the way back, because honestly, you can get a lot of sound just from drilling literally a tiny 1 inch hole in an exhaust, because it's the muffler that's quieting it, and there's a lot of chambers in the muffler. So if you just like change your muffler, that's where you can get your sound. You change one of your resonators, that's where you can get sound. But honestly, you don't get a lot of horsepower. You get horsepower gains if you have something like maybe Andrew, like I don't know how to read your name right, Gen 2. It obviously means second gen, but Gen 2 Ned is how you read it. But so like he holds the record for being the fastest second gen. Yes, Andrew does, and I actually talked to him quite a bit. He's a member of the channel. He actually has some pretty good exhaust modifications to his car, and somebody like him, where you want to unchoke the exhaust because of how much air he's actually pushing through his engine, that's where it benefits you. But if you're literally an untuned car with a factory turbo with no modifications whatsoever, all a bigger exhaust is going to do is possibly lose horsepower and make noise. So that was just one thing, I wanted to answer. What else? I have a lot of questions, so I'm just going to read, and if you don't like this format, please let me know. Gen tuned. I think I could have guessed that. By the way, if I wasn't doing a live stream and had a minute to think, I probably would have got it. I'm glad I'm not the only one. By the way, let me just turn on my air conditioning. It's actually kind of hot in here right now. I moved into the 21st century a little bit with being able to use a phone app. So another question I've had people ask me was about merchandise. So if you guys notice, I'm actually wearing my first shirt. I had the shirt made. It cost me a lot of money. The only reason I haven't done merchandise is because a lot of these places want you to buy like a lot of shirts, but I didn't quite know what I wanted. So I had this shirt made, and I spent a ridiculous amount of money to make it, and I absolutely hate the way it came out. So what I think I should have done was put this here, and I think I should have put the actual car and everything on the back. So in the future, I mean, if you guys like this shirt, I have no problem getting these shirts made if you guys want them, but I think in the future I want to put the emblem here, and I want this on the back, and I think I'll make it like a front and back shirt. If it's something you guys like, just let me know. I also had some hats made. It is crazy how expensive hats are. A hat to buy is like $20-something, and then to get the work done to actually put the emblem on it or to put something on the hat is like $50. So like one hat just for me to buy and make is like a $40 or $50 hat. So I have to buy like 1,000 of them. But I'm not really sure if anybody's going to want, like, in my next live stream, I might have a couple of the hats. So merchandise is something I'm working on. I'm just trying to find the most affordable way to do it. Let's see. Should I have Andrew on for an interview? Actually, Andrew's really cool. We did a couple of... we talk almost every day, ironically, through Facebook. But we actually did... he got me on a Facebook chat room. I didn't even know that was a thing. And we were just talking about like E85 and meth injection, and I think inner chillers. So he's a real cool guy to talk to. What's really cool about him is he'll even tell you this. He does like old school drag. He has like an old school drag racer mentality, but he's adapting everything he took from like drag racing since he was young. And I think his dad drag raced too. And he's doing all of that to this 1.4 liter. So he's squeezing as much power as he can out of that little 1.4 liter. The same way a drag racer would squeeze every ounce of horsepower out of like a 427 big block. So it's really cool. I have some footage, and I'm going to be doing a shout out on a video coming up of his car going down the drag strip, and I can't wait to throw it in. I haven't done any shout outs on the Big Turbo series because I wanted to keep the Big Turbo series mostly about cruise missile and doing the Big Turbo, and I was saving shout outs in the cruise community for the other videos. That's why you guys haven't seen it yet. Unless you want to see him in the Big Turbo videos, just let me know. But yeah, Andrew's really cool people. He may be here tonight. Oh, actually, you know what? Let me send him a link. I may have forgotten to actually message him. Let me send him a link real quick because I tried to send links to everybody, and you just reminded me we're mentioning him, and I think I forgot to send it. He may not be a live stream watcher, but so he may not come in because he's a little old school, but but at least I'm gonna try. I'll send it to him real quick. It's not letting me. I don't know why it's not letting me. You know what? Let me send him a link. Actually, since we're talking, it'd be cool if he was here. Sorry, I'm trying to do this on my computer, and I have the camera system in the way. I know it's a little unprofessional. So yeah, I just sent him a link. I let him know that we're actually talking about him, which is cool. Hopefully he doesn't take that in the wrong way. So I might be typing him back too on here just to let him know. Okay, yeah, sorry guys. So I just wanted to get that out of the way. Unfortunately, I'm a one man operation, so everything that I do is me. So if I'm building turbo kits or building intercooler kits or building custom brakes, like it's all me. So I can't like get someone to do it for me. So even if I'm inviting Andrew, I have to stop for a second just to do it. Also, David, is your turbo bay the 6+6 or the 11 blade? Mine is the 11 blade, and if memory serves, it's the big wheel with the 11 blades with the little mini 11 blades in it. I had somebody this week try to tell me that the 11 blade um, produces less power than the 6+6, which is true in certain situations. By the way, I'm not going to give out what's Andrew's time. He's running low 13s, I believe. Like almost, he's close to a 13 flat, I believe, which is pretty fast for a 1.4 liter that still has the full interior. Like his car is not gutted. It has no like light weighting done to it, so that's a really fast cruise. I mean, to give you an idea of how fast that is, that's like C6 and older Corvettes. So a C6 is not a slow car. Now we're not talking the Z06, but that's still pretty fast. I mean, a 13-second run is probably a 0 to 60 of like 14 and a half. Or I'm sorry, 4.5 seconds. So that's a pretty quick cruise. I mean, considering from the factory, they're like probably a 16 or 17 second quarter mile time. That's pretty awesome. Hey, what's going on? I appreciate you coming. Thank you. All right, so it looks like my invites may have worked. I did the best I could to get them all out. So there's a lot of people coming in. So awesome. Thank you. Oh, so second gen. I wanted to finish talking about the 6+6. So I had a conversation this week about basically the 6+6 being better than the 11 blade. You got to look at it two different ways. Now, Andrew and myself and a lot of people are running the 11 blade. There's also just as many people, if not more, running the 6 blade. If you have an automatic and you commute every day, and you're just looking for extra horsepower, the 6+6 is good if you're an automatic, and basically it gives you a more like down low power. So if you're the kind of person who's commuting all the time and you want that extra little boost of power and you want to really feel it, the 6+6 is for you. Me, like basically with that turbo, you're going to see a lot of horsepower lower in the RPM range, and then it's going to start running out of steam up high. If you use the 11 blade, because it's a larger turbo, you're going to have less power down low, but up high you're going to have a lot more horsepower. So it is true if you look at certain RPM ranges. Now me, being a manual, I like the 11 blade because when I was using the factory turbo, I would get a lot of power down low, and what would happen is when I wanted to shift, let's say I went from first to second gear, I get so much power down low that the car would, jerk real hard, pin me in my seat, and then I run out of power up top. So really you had all your power down low and then it goes away. And then when I shift gears, I get a lot of power again and it really gets real jerky. I like the larger turbo because now when I switch gears, let's say I go to first to second, the car shifts normal and then I get pinned in my seat and then the car keeps pulling. So it feels more like how a V8 would feel. So it has a more linear power band. So that's why I like the larger turbo. And you guys haven't seen all the footage yet, but I mean my car's putting over 30 pounds of boost now. And I'm not giving dyno numbers just yet. I will let you know I have 2 dyno runs filmed, 3 total. One dyno run is after the turbo was installed and before I was able to get like good numbers out of the car because there were a few complications and the car made more power, but not what I was happy with which was good because it made a lot of good content that's going to be coming out that you guys are going to like to see. Sorry, There's a lot of questions coming in. I just want to catch up on questions. That's impressive. Let's see, fireworks. You said that's impressive. Your boss gonna find you again. That's funny. I ran 16 flat bone stock. Yeah, 16 is about what I thought it would be. I want to go GT 286R. Technically Eco. I don't know what your real name is. You don't have to tell me here. But if I talk to you on Facebook, I feel like I might know who you are. I was talking to someone. this week about getting a flange made. No, actually, I know your name. I'm not going to say who it was. I know exactly who it was. I don't want to say their name publicly, but I'm working on figuring out a way to get a flange to go from the head to an aftermarket turbo for our cars. The only thing is, the only thing that might be holding a company back from producing that, I may have to make it myself. I'm just working on getting a better welder. The only reason companies might hold back on doing that is because the 1.4 is known to have piston failure issues. But I'm learning a lot more about why. A big one is oil and air fuel ratios. And this week, actually, there was a couple people I talked to, but this week alone, I've seen a few people have some issues with their cars, and I've been trying to find out from them what their air fuel ratios are. People who are running E85, they seem to be hiding their air fuel ratios. I don't know why. I think in order to get that tuned, maybe they're not allowed to share, or maybe because it's me, they're afraid to share with me because I think maybe um, I don't even know why, to be honest with you. Why wouldn't they just let me know? Because I can usually fix problems. Or you know what I think it is? I think it's because they want to find out for themselves and they don't want me involved because, maybe they want credit. I don't know. I tend to work with people, which is fun. Good news about the Malibu. My taillights are coming in. Yeah, you have. I really like your Malibu, and I'm very excited to actually run one of the intercoolers. You're probably going to be my first tester on the Malibu. Basically, with your car, we figured out how to run one of my intercoolers on it, and I'm pretty excited for you to be my first tester. Um, yeah, they don't. Yeah, for some reason, they when it comes to tuning, everyone gets very like taboo about it. In fact, even my own tune, like I wanted my tune unlocked so I can bring my car to another tuner for. I wanted to do something else with the car, and I can't even get my tune unlocked. To basically, I have to start from scratch now, which I think is, um, I, I have to watch what I say, but I don't like it, especially since I have to start from scratch because I have so much money into the car and I spent so much money. It's like, why can't I own my own tune? I paid for it. It's mine. It's my tune. So, but all right, so what I'll do is, if you guys ask questions, feel free to keep asking or mentioning things. I'm gonna go back to my questions on the that I wrote down because I don't want to skip someone who maybe submitted something because I promised I would talk about it. Uh, yes, I'm glad you see that too. I really don't like it because of how much money. I mean, I have from one tuning company alone, I have probably I want to say $2,000 worth of stuff in my car. I don't want to hear like I can't have my tune unlocked. I don't think it's fair. Yeah. Uh, hey, what's going on? By the way, well, actually, tell me if you want me everyone to let them know who you are. I'm not going to say who you are unless you say it's okay. So, but I'm glad you're here. Also, something very exciting. I found a wide body kit. Oh, that's really cool. I would love to see a wide body Malibu. That's really cool. Uh, the other thing, like I keep toying with the idea of doing like a V8 swap on these cars, like a Malibu and the Cruise. But see, like where I am, the way the laws are, if I put a V8 or any engine in my car, it has to be newer than the year of the car. At least I guess the past inspection. But like Florida, like if you're in Florida, you can put a '60s engine in a brand new car and it doesn't matter. There's no emissions testing or anything like that out there. I would love to do like a V8 swap on a Malibu. That would be so cool. Plus a wide body, make it look like a race car. I love stuff like that now. I think the days of like Mustangs versus Camaros, I'm behind those. Or we can't do this or that like I'm expecting from emissions where I live. Wait, what was that? Oh yeah, right, exactly. Where are you located? Okay, so guys, if you have any questions about Andrew, he is in the chat. I just don't want to point out who he is just for his privacy, but he is in the chat. Um, so if you have any questions about his car, he's here. And his car is he's one of the heavy hitters too in the cruise community. By the way, I let him know what you run. You're in the 13s. I let him know a little bit about your car, and your car is awesome. Yeah, so being exempt, like if I were in a state that emissions testing were, it's crazy. So in America, we have 50 of the original states, and then obviously there's other countries that are considered states too. Emissions testing is only something that's done in like 10 states. And I think it's the most congested states. But like down in Florida, you guys can run anything, and I'm jealous. Like I would love to be in Florida. I'd love to be in like Idaho, Georgia. I mean, you can pretty much have anything you want, and that's the state that I would love to be in. The whole kit is 2.5 inch. Wait, 2.5 grand, and it widens the front by 2 inches. See, that's cool. I wonder if you could take the Cruise. They make a Cruise body kit. Basically, the Malibu and the Cruise. Well, we've talked about this. The Malibu and the Cruise are basically um, the same car, just the Malibu is a little bigger and wider. I wonder if you take the Cruise body kit that they make and put it on the Malibu, it may actually fit no problem. They almost look like the same car. That might be a cool idea too, and you might be able to get it cheaper than like a Malibu specific kit. Yeah, Andrew. So, or other Andrew. There's more than one, by the way. Yeah, you're 67. You could actually for 67, you can put any engine you want in your car because emissions testing didn't happen. Legally, I think emissions testing didn't start until the 70s. Don't quote me on this. It's been a while since I really had to think about this, but I think you can put any engine you want in that vehicle. Especially since it's from the 60s, it doesn't matter because all the good engines are basically from the 90s up. Unless you're old school, like a 60s 427 in your eyes might be the best engine, or an 80s 454 might be the best engine. Um, an 89 5.0. Yeah, that's a good engine. So I did the 5.0 swap. I had a 60. I'm sorry, I had a 64 and a half Mustang, which is almost like your. I think you had a. Was it a Falcon? I don't remember what you had. I think it was a Falcon. So I had a 64 and a half, and I put the 80s 5.0 in it, and it was perfect, just the right power. It's a small engine, so there's a lot of room under the engine bay. And what's funny is the Ford 5.0, some of that DNA made its way into the LS engines, so much so that you could actually take an LS1 head and put it on the 5.0 liter EFI engine. So that's why they're both good engines because they're really small pack. They have a cam in the center, so they don't have like big overhead cams on the top. So a lot of people like sticking them in cars because it's easier to swap because of how big they are. Oh, a Cougar. My apologies, but same engine family. The Cougar's cool. It's funny. When I was younger, I loved Mustangs and Camaros, and now that I get older, I like maybe a Cougar wagon, a Falcon. You show me like an early '60s Falcon, and I think that's so much nicer than the Mustang. I think when you're a kid, you grow up seeing the Mustang in so many movies that you fall in love with the idea of owning one. But when you get older, you start realizing there's a lot more cool cars out there. Uh, so it's starting to get a little dark. I'm gonna start putting some of these lights on too for you guys. All right, so let's see. What other questions that I had? Someone had asked me basically about the cooling fan upgrade on the. Actually, this is a question I get a lot. The cooling fan upgrade for the intercoolers. Why did I come up with it? And why or how is it powered? So basically, I came up with it for two reasons. The adding the cooling fan to the intercooler was for people who, um, basically, if you're in a state that's very hot, or even if you're not in a state that's hot, but you're in a state that you do a lot of driving and you're stuck in a lot of traffic. I mean, even on a really cold day, I have so much data come my way that even on a day where it's like 40 degrees out, the factory intercoolers pretty much heat up to like 100 to 120 degrees, and if you're towing, it's sometimes even hotter. And then heat soak is something where like when the intercooler finally gets hot, you would need to be going down the highway sometimes upwards of like 45 minutes to an hour before that intercooler starts dropping in temperature. Now my intercooler usually usually right off the bat, even if it got a little hot, like let's say you're sitting in traffic and the intercooler got up to over 100 degrees, basically within seconds to minutes of driving on a hot day, my intercooler drops right away. But when it comes to like a situation where you might be in Arizona where you race, or it's hot all day and temperatures like 120 degrees outside, and you're in traffic and there's just no airflow, that's why I came up with the cooling fan upgrade. It's for people who are like stuck in traffic. It's for people who race in hot states. So like let's say you're a drag racer, like Andrew, other Andrew, world record cruise Andrew. You have like a pit fan that you were telling me about. But let's say you're the kind of person that's just a weekend drag racer and you do it for fun. You may want the cooling fan upgrade. So I did it in two ways. You can either have it so it's switched. So in the car you can tell it to be on. So when the car's off, the fan will just run, and you can turn it on and leave it on and walk away. Or I have it so you can do key on. So as soon as the car is on, the fans are running. So if you're just in traffic and the fans are running, it'll cool the fans while you're not moving, a certain amount. Or let's say you get to work and you completely forget to shut the fans off. When you turn the key off, the fans will just shut themselves off, so you don't have to worry about it. And it's a plug-in situation. It's literally a plug-and-play setup. So
that's how I designed them, and I did it that way to make it easier for everybody. The supercharged LS4. So where I am, if I were to put the LS4 in one of my, like in my cruise, let's say, technically that's an illegal build because the LS4 stopped being built in like 2009, maybe as late as 2011. So the engine's so old that if I were to put it, I can make it work in the car. I 100% could get that engine in my car. But in my state, legally, technically, it won't pass inspection. Now, is it a great swap for YouTube? Yes. But at the same time, uh, do I want to do all that and then have a car that technically can be impounded? That's a little bit of my problem. A K swap, I do like the idea of a K swap. The other problem with a K swap is the K swap is also too old of an engine. So one of these days, I plan on moving out of where I live to like Florida or something because I want to get away from all the rules. I'm so tired of it. I just want to be in a place where I could be myself and build anything I want, and then I'll build dumb things like that. So another idea I came up with actually. So I had put this on the Facebook, the social media group. So I actually figured out a way I think to put a supercharger on our cruises, and I think I would have more fun figuring out a Roots type supercharger than doing a V8 swap. Now, if you guys have seen all the videos on my channel, you know that I have like 8 vehicles on the property. They're all projects, but half of them are V8s. I have enough V8s. I like small engines with superchargers and turbos on them. So I think I would have more fun figuring out like a supercharger from like a Cobalt or something, and figure out how to make that work on our 1.4 liters and getting rid of that dumb turbo. Well, it's not dumb. Turbos are awesome. I just like superchargers. So yeah, no. So wait, so you're exempt from it in where'd you say Oregon? Oh, I'm jealous. Yeah, that's what I mean. I want to be in a state where it's just so open that like emissions testing is not a problem and it's not needed. I just want to be there so I can build anything I like. Oh, that's weird. So in Oregon, you have areas. So I guess in Oregon, you have counties, and I guess certain counties do emissions testing. That makes sense. For me, my entire state is emissions testing up and down because we're near New York, and whatever California does, New York does. Whatever New York does, my state does. So if they pass some dumb law there, then we have to follow it. Oh, that's funny. What else did I want to talk about? Oh. So let's see. Unfortunately, Scarecrow, it's blocking your comment because of language, which is fine. No one can see it. You can't get in trouble. Just retype what you want to say a little nicer so I could show everybody. Uh, and I agree with you, by the way, Scarecrow. No, Dave. I meant the LS4. Oh, the new one. Oh, just so you know, the LS4, the one I was thinking of, is a front wheel drive LS4. So the new ZL1, oh, the LT4. I'm sorry, that threw me off. So I don't know if you realize this. The LT4 is the supercharged ZL1 engine. That's why it threw me off. It's funny because you actually named another V8. The LS4 is like a Malibu SS from like the early 2000s. That would be the LS4, which is a front wheel drive V8. That's what I thought you meant, which I could make fit in our cars. But yeah, the LT4. So I do have the people who are part of the membership. I do have a almost a 500 horsepower LS1 sitting in my garage, and I was talking this week in one of the member videos about possibly getting a cruise, like a Gen 1 cruise, and dropping that engine in it because then it will be a legal build. I can get an older cruise and put it's basically too old for my 2017 cruise, but if I get like a 2010 cruise, it's new enough that it's a legal build, and then I can do a rear wheel drive. I can modify the car to be rear wheel drive, 6-speed manual, and put a Corvette engine under the hood, which I thought would be really cool. So that's one of my possible future projects. One thing I'm definitely going to do once I'm done maxing out the cruise, the 2017 cruise, is I'm going to try and figure out a supercharger. I really want to do it. Oh, I didn't realize you used to live in New York, and yes, it does suck. Monte Carlo. I can't quite. I can't geographically think of where Monte Carlo is. Is that where you are now? Is that in Florida? I know you're in Florida, but is Monte Carlo in Florida? I can't think of where it is right now. Get a Sonic. It's funny. I was looking at some Sonics, so I'm looking for another project, and I saw a Sonic for sale in a really cool color, and I thought it'd be really cool if I just build maybe a drag car, because that way it doesn't matter at that point, and I build a Sonic, but I make the engine so big that the top of the engine is above the top of the car, just for a dumb build. I thought that would be really cool. Yeah, yeah, I had a feeling that's what you meant. But you weren't wrong. The LS4 is a front-wheel drive V8, which is a great viable V8 to do for a front-wheel drive car. But the LT4 is definitely a cool build. What is this timing chain? So I don't. Oh, chain timing. Oh, are you asking me about chain timing? Oh, for the LT4, yeah. Well, actually, that's a cam in the middle of the block. So that's actually not too bad. Oh, Monte Carlo. Sorry. I didn't realize that's what you meant. Oh, hold on. My chair's driving me crazy. Oh, yes. Yeah, you're right. The LS4 is in the Monte Carlo. My apologies. Sorry about that. Yeah, no, okay, so the Monte Carlo, yeah, the Dale Earnhardt edition Monte Carlo had one. There's a Malibu SS had one, but they also have the 3.6 liter, I think. And then, and my apologies, I didn't realize that's what you meant. That's funny. Yeah, guys, when I do these live streams, I'm thinking and talking about so many things that sometimes I'm a little brain dense. But yeah, I definitely want to go to a place. To be honest with you, here's my dream, right? I want to live in a place where I can buy a piece of land because where I am is incredibly expensive, right? I want to buy a piece of land that's basically what it would cost me now. I want to have the same mortgage payment, but I want a piece of land that's like the size of the town I live in. I want to be able to have like 50 acres of land, and if I walk out my front door, all I see is my trees. That's what I want, and I want a massive garage. I want to be able to build my own racetrack on my own property, and not a single person could say a thing about it. That's what I want. That's funny. Yeah, Oregon might be cool. What's the weather like in Oregon all year round? Also, the Malibu. So the early. So when we're talking Malibus, I'm not a Malibu guy, so I probably would have this wrong. But the early Malibus, like early 2000s, the biggest engine they had was a six cylinder. I don't know, so that's why I'm asking. I thought they had I thought they had a V8 also, because I know a lot of guys that do the Fiero swaps. They'll use the LS4. So that there's a couple different cars that had it. Technically eco. So in Oregon, what's the weather like all year round? So Oregon, is that up by that's up by Seattle. So is the weather change with the seasons, or is it mostly warm? Because it's also close to Nevada too, I think, right? I'm not sure. Rains quite a bit. Yeah, Seattle rains a lot too. So I'm just reading some of these questions too. Yeah, but same as Washington. So do you find because you're a little lower towards California that the weather doesn't get as cold, or is it basically just changes with the seasons all the time? Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't know that. I always thought that car came with one. I always thought the SSC in the early 2000s, late 90s, SS always meant that it probably had a V8 in it. Nowadays, if you get something that's SS, it's like, it's like flipping a coin what they mean. It's like our RS, right? So RS for our cars really is just makes the car look better. It doesn't really mean anything when you would like to think that maybe an RS Cruise being more money had maybe the 1.5 turbo in it. It would be cool if it was the 1.5 from like the Malibu in the Cruise, which is a pretty cool swap. Maybe that's something I could just throw in the car. Like if I ever blow my engine, I will definitely put a 1.5 in the car, but if the car's fine, I won't do it. Simply because it's basically the same engine. Let's see, explains the whole updates and colors for new intercooler and piping. Yeah, so the colors, you know how that started. I was I was talking to somebody. I'm not going to name them, but I was talking to someone about they wanted a black intercooler. So I said, no problem. I could do a black intercooler. And I went out and I started researching like an intercooler that would be the same specs as mine. What I didn't like is a lot of the black intercoolers were smaller and they had smaller inlets and outlets. And I didn't want to just give him an intercooler that was a finished, like I just want to give him any intercooler. So I said, look, I called him after about 2 weeks of hunting and I said, look, I'd rather use my intercooler. So instead what I did is I found a coating for stainless steel that's designed. It's not called a paint or like a powder coat. It's designed as a stain or a dye. So it's stainless steel dye that has stainless steel in it. So the coating that I actually put on the intercoolers is made out of stainless steel and it dyes it in the black color. So you get this nice satin color. I could do satin, like I could do like a gunmetal gray, and I could do white. Um, so that's basically why that came about, and I liked it so much that I'm actually offering it as a product now. I wasn't gonna do that, but since this person wanted it, I said why not. So I'm practicing on theirs. I'm gonna be testing it on my car for. I want to make sure heat wise, it's gonna be just as good or better. It might actually be better to have a black intercooler just because it might keep the sun out more. In theory, it could actually help out with cooling versus hindering it. So I'm going to be testing it. So far, all my testing has been good. I'm going to have some footage coming out of that intercooler on my car. Probably in about a week or so, I'll film it. You might not see the footage for about 3 or 4 weeks because I'm trying to get all the big turbo stuff out. But that's why I started offering it. And I had a couple people ask me about purple, like purple accents. So I think a really cool looking intercooler is going to be a black pipes with purple elbows, and I'm really excited to build that for somebody. And I may have one or two people that might want it. And I can't. There's one person I know who actually has a black Cruise with it's all blacked out with purple accents, and in the future they kind of want one, and I would love to put it on their car. I think it would look perfect. I might even figure out a way to actually do purple piping. I don't know. Uh, my whole thing is can I do purple piping? Yes. Can I do white piping? Yes. It's durability. I want to make sure the stuff's not just going to peel off later on with heat or something. So I've been doing a lot of testing with the black satin coating you guys see. I mean, to the point where I dropped the pipe on the ground on purpose just to see what would happen, and it dented and the coating stayed on. So I definitely like that. So I at least with the black and the gunmetal, I know those are fine so far, and maybe the white because it's the same product. Technically Eco, are you asking me for my email or someone else's? I haven't been paying attention to the whole chat because I'm trying to explain stuff too, and you guys are talking a lot, and I don't want to skip anybody. Let's see. To me, SS means the most horsepower for that model. Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. If I spend the money on something that has the SS name on it, I expect there to be the most horsepower, the best interior, the best braking system, the best tires, the best wheels, and it has to look nicer than everything else. There's a reason you're paying that money. And I would really hate to, like, let's say they come out with let's say the Camaro comes back out, right? And you have the 6-cylinder and the V8, and then you have the SS version. I expect the SS to look nothing like the other cars, be faster, brake and handle better, and look nicer. Okay, so here, give me a sec. I'm just gonna type my I guess my public email in. Actually, here, this is a good way to get me. Here. Here, I gave the website. So what you can do is, if you go on that website, it has a bunch of my contact information, and you can, where it says order, or you can just message me right through it, and there's a messaging system, so you can get me anytime on that. So if anybody else needs me, you can go right to the new website. So I'm trying to brand something, not for any reason other than I love the name. So I came up with Super Cruises because, like, I want to be like in the cruise world. I feel like cruise missile is a little bit of a heavy hitter, and there's a couple of the heavy hitters are in this chat right now. And I thought it'd be cool to come up with a name like Super Cruises, where I can do stuff with the Super Cruises name for guys like us who like want something custom. Because you know what, a lot of people when they think cruise, they think economy car, right? Good gas mileage, 40 miles per gallon, daily driver, and that's that, right? Oh, and by the way, hold on, I want to pause for a sec. So technically Eco. The reason I gave that name is because my public email I might be changing. My public email is brembodave@gmail.com, and I don't like using the name Brembo that much. So what I'm doing is I'm using Super Cruises, so that way people can get in touch with me without using the Brembo name. I'm a fan of Brembos. I don't want to, I'm not associated with them in any way, and I don't want any problems. That's why I didn't want to put that out there anymore. I'm going to come out with another email maybe, but if you use Super Cruises, you could always get me. That's not going anywhere because I literally pay money to own that. Let's see, and yet the current SS Camaro looks exactly the same. Yeah, it does. It looks exactly the same. In fact, the 6-cylinder Camaro might be more fun because with a good exhaust and playing around with that turbo, if you're coming from a cruise to a 6-cylinder Camaro, I think that'll be a lot more fun than an actual V8 Camaro. Mine's technically eco. Oh, that's funny. Okay, so what else? What else did I want to talk about? So I'm just focusing on, I'm a little distracted because I'm trying to fix all the lighting in here too because it's starting to get dark out. I spent a lot of time making sure I have good lighting for you guys because I wanted to make sure when it starts getting dark, which I realize is going to happen, that the video and audio is still good. So hopefully I'm doing a good job. I still don't know. See, I've only watched a few live chats that other people do, like live streams. And what I noticed that a lot of other people do is they really only talk about one thing. No, I don't want to sound insulting. How do I do this? They sort of stick to one thing. And I don't know if you guys want that. Like, do you want me just to stick to one thing? Like, do you want me just to talk about like future builds and maybe just the cruise missiles turbo? Or do you want me to talk about a bunch of different stuff? Like, I have a lot of cool subjects. Oh, and by the way, there's a lot of people in here now. I just want to bring up this one more time. If you notice the shirt I'm wearing, it is very expensive to make merchandise. I've had a lot of people ask me about merchandise. I just want to go over this one more time because I see how many people are in here. So this shirt cost me way too much money, and I hate this shirt. So I went crazy. You guys don't know this, but I have graphic designing training, and I created this shirt. It looked really cool on the computer, and when I had it made, I realized that maybe the graphic was too big, and I didn't like the placement. So this, I think what I want to do is maybe put this logo here, and I want to take Cruise Missile and maybe put it on the back. And I want to know what you guys think of that. If you guys think that that might be a cool looking shirt, I'll have them made. If I want one shirt made, it's a crazy amount of money. So I spent the money to do this one shirt just to see if I would like it. And of course, I hate the shirt. It might be because I'm stressing about it. So now that I've seen this shirt in person, what I will do is if you guys want maybe to me put this on the back and maybe put the logo here, I'll buy it in bulk and I'll get it cheap enough that I could actually sell them at a cheaper price to help fund the channel. Like these super chats, like some people like to donate, some people are part of the membership. And if I have merchandise, you guys buy merchandise, it sort of helps me fund the channel because what I can do is sort of save that money for like R&D on parts and more merchandise and just stuff you guys want. Every dollar I make goes back into the channel and back into the website and stuff. So this all helps. But I want to give you guys things you're looking for. So that's why I wanted to bring this up. And I also have hats coming. So maybe in the next live stream, you guys will see the hats that I came up with. It is crazy expensive to make one hat. The one custom hat is I'm not gonna tell you how much I spent, but it's nuts. All right, so let's see. I want to go back to some of these subjects. So by the way, I was talking about like subjects. So I don't know if you guys want me just to talk about cars and just to talk about cruise missile, or like I had some stuff I wrote down that I thought would be kind of fun. I don't know if you guys are just listening. Some of you are just listening while driving home and you're not going to type. And those of you that are typing right now, I appreciate that because it gives us something to talk about. So I thought it'd be fun to do this. Like whenever I'm hanging out with people and it sort of gets quiet or bored, I always ask weird questions. So like one of them would be like, what's your favorite Adam Sandler movie? Like for me, my favorite Adam Sandler movie, which I don't think is very well known, is That's My Boy. I think it's one of the funniest movies, but I like to see what everybody else might come up with. So I have a couple of these. I'm not going to say them all now. I'm going to wait a little bit, and then when I get responses for the first question, I'll throw another one out. So another one... I I appreciate that. Thank you. I appreciate that as feedback. I try to keep these live streams as fun as possible, which is why I wrote down different things that I wanted to talk about to keep it more interesting because... some people refer to this, like when you watch it on a later date, a lot of people refer to it as a podcast almost. So basically I'm a one-person podcast, which is something I never really thought about doing. It's not something I don't know if I should do, but this I guess could be a doorway into that in the future. But for right now, I like doing live stream because I get to talk to you guys live, which is fun for me. Let's see. Coming from the screen printing experience, logos on the left breast or center about 2 inches below the neckline. Okay, that's helpful. I appreciate that. So Andrew, do you think with the logo, should I just maybe do one big logo, or do you like the? Do you guys like the car? Or what I can do is, since I'm a graphic designer, you guys could actually send me what you want on a shirt, and I can make you a custom shirt specifically for your car, which I thought was cool. Considering how much these things are, it might be expensive to buy a shirt, but it might be worth it to you if you're getting a custom shirt the way you want it, which I thought would be cool. Let's see. Personal opinion: keep the Dave's World logo where it is. Move cruise missile to the back, but don't have it in such a detail. Maybe create an outline. That might be a cool idea. I was thinking of trying to do maybe a silhouette. What I was thinking of is taking the cruise sideways shot, doing a silhouette in white, and then putting super cruises through the middle of it. Maybe across the shirt chest, something like that. I thought that might be kind of cool. Let's see. I just got an idea. Missile. I would be okay with that. Oh, and put cruise missile on the back. Yeah, yeah. I think that's probably what I should have done. When I get the basically what'll happen is when I get the shirts completed, I guess what I'll do is in the beginning of one of my videos, I'll show this shirt and I'll show the other shirt. I'll have two of them. And then you guys, what I'll do is I'll put it on the website, and if I get enough orders, I'll let you guys know the first batch might take a couple weeks, but then when I see what everyone wants, then moving forward, I'll get enough in stock that I'll just have them. Unfortunately, this is a smaller channel, so it takes me time to do some of these things. And again, I'm a one-man operation. I prefer to be involved with everything. Big car logo on the back. All right, that might be a cool idea. Maybe I could do a high-resolution Dave's World logo on the back. Might be kind of cool. Thanks, Technically Eco. Obviously, I'll get back to you later. I don't want to get back to you right now because I think it might be kind of boring if I'm reading and responding to emails. So Andrew is somebody that I talk to quite a bit, which I'm not shy to say, but I had wrote down E85 as one of my discussion topics, and anyone who's running E85, I want to recommend that if you're going to be running E85 to do two things. Now, a lot of you guys who are hardcore test your E85 ethanol content. A lot of people in the cruise world, this is your first car, and it's your first modification, right? It's the first time you're ever working on a car that you're modifying from scratch. So it's exciting when you get a tune that's for E85, right? The problem is a lot of people running an E85 tune just know that it means more power and you're getting E85 cheaper than regular gasoline. Then they're finding out later that E85 burns hotter. So when you would normally get maybe 300 miles to a tank, now you're getting like 200 miles to a tank because E85 literally evaporates almost while it's sitting in the tank. It burns faster. The other thing is with the E85 is if you're not testing your ethanol content, I mean, you're in a territory where you can damage your engine. Let's see, female helper. Yeah, yeah, I agree. My wife sorta is starting to come on the channel. My younger son loves being on the channel. I'm gonna have a couple helpers in the future. Some of you guys who are part of the membership know who Hunter is, and there's only like one video with Hunter in it. He definitely wants to be part of the channel. He enjoys it. He loves helping his dad, so he enjoys it. And he loves filming. I have a lot of stuff I filmed with him just running around the camera, and he thinks it's the funniest thing in the world. So yeah, so Andrew, you just said got to test that E. So here's what I've been noticing. A lot of people don't know how to do that. And the problem is you might test a gas station today. When that tank is empty and they fill, like the gas station's tanks, when that tank is empty and they fill it back up, the next time you go, it might not be the same E85. Just because they sell E85 doesn't mean you're getting a full E85. So I came across Sunoco, and VP Fuels actually sells E85 in 5-gallon drums that you can have delivered to your house. I would invest in having some of that handy. And I would also pay attention to testing your gas stations near you. Because let's say the closest gas station you have, the ethanol content is always 70. Now you need to boost that up. So you might need to go buy either octane booster or you need to have E85 handy so you can throw it in your tank to get that E85 up because your car is set up for E85. A lot of people don't realize that, and I've been noticing some people are having driving problems. Some people are having blown engine issues. Um, your now the air fuel ratios. I don't know why people are keeping this a secret, but I'm noticing some people are running pretty lean, and you have to be careful with running too lean because you can overheat your cylinders. And I'm noticing, basically one way to get a cracked piston when you're overheating an engine, like when you have a lean condition on your engine, your piston's going to swell, and when your piston swells, it basically is going to hit the sidewall of the cylinder, and then when that piston pushes up, the connecting rod is going to push the center of the piston, and since that piston's dragging on the cylinder wall, it's going to slow the piston down and push through the center, and that's what cracks the piston. So you have to really watch out with this stuff, and I personally don't like the idea of having to um, overthink what fuel I'm putting in the car. So that's one of the reasons I don't like it. I mean, I don't have it near me. So I don't want to say who has blown engines. Just know that I talk to a lot of people. And it happens. I'm not saying E85 is the reason. I'm not saying E85 is the reason for blown engines at all. What I'm saying is air fuel ratios could be the reason for it. You need to know what you're putting in your engine. That's my point. So one thing I found for the E85 guys is they actually make a gauge where you can add an ethanol content sensor in your fuel line. And the gauge will actually tell you live what your ethanol content is for your E85. So if you put something in your tank and your ethanol content on the gauge is reading lower, you know that the fuel that's in your tank currently is not the correct octane that you're looking for, and at least you can catch it, because a lot of people usually don't do that. They don't go that far. I agree with you. So let's see, who blew their engine on a BNR 85 tune as it hasn't been reported. I'm not saying who. I'm not. I'm going to leave that alone. I'm not saying it publicly. And I'm not saying names, and I'm not saying it's the tune, and I'm not saying that it was E85. I'm just saying it has happened, and it can also happen because of E85. And I just want people to know that. Let's see. Won't ever convert. Yeah, so like near me, E85 is something that's non-existent. I can have it delivered, but I'm not sure how much it will cost to get it delivered if financially it makes sense. Let's see. Your content could be as low as 7. So that's a good. So Andrew, I didn't realize that you can go as low as 70%. That's good. So actually, can you let me know? So with 70% octane, so I'm sorry, ethanol content, right? When it goes to 70, does it change your air fuel ratio on your car? Let's say if you drop down to the 70. Because another thing too, like everybody that's running E85, do you have to change the gap? I'm just asking because some cruise people in here are running E85. Do you have to change the gap on your spark plugs for the E85 too? I know if you're going big turbo, you have to change the gap because you don't want spark blowout. So like with E85, you have to do the same thing. Let's see. Oh, hey, how's it going, Jerry? How are you? So E85, let me see. Haven't had a chance to reply. E85 does not burn faster. Oh, see, I thought it burned faster. So why? Then why do people? So again, I'm only asking. I'm not questioning you. I'm asking about. I'm asking about why people say that. What is the reason that they say it burns faster with the 85? Because a lot of people say, like for example, right, E85. Let's say you run super gasoline and it's like 450 a gallon, right? E85 is like 350 a gallon. 30% more fuel quantity. You need 30% more fuel quantity to achieve the same. Oh, so wait. So with the 85, are you saying that E85 produces 30% more? Wait, let me read that again. Hold on. You need 30% more fuel to achieve the same energy as gasoline. 30% more fuel quantity. Oh, are you saying gasoline needs 30% more, Jerry? So out of 70% ethanol content, right? Does the timing in the engine need to change when you're running 70% less? Or when you're running at 70% versus 85? Let's see. If theoretically gasoline produced 100% energy for one part of fuel. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, so it's actually less. So wait, so when you run E85, it's actually less power then, right? Is that so? Basically, so when you're running E85, you actually get less horsepower out of the same amount of fuel. So you're saying, let's say you burn 1 liter of fuel, right? And then you burn 1 liter. Let's say you burn 1 liter of gasoline and you burn 1 liter of E85. The 1 liter of E85 will produce less power than the gasoline. Mentioning making custom exhaust manifold. Yeah. Wait. So no gas has 30%. Oh, okay. So it's back. Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, so I just wanted to correct it. So when it comes to E85, when you're running E85, you're getting 30% more horsepower. Okay, that makes sense. Okay. So wait. So when you're running E85, Jerry. So let me add. So with E85, right? So like on a normal on a gas engine running gasoline, when you're wide open throttle, on average, you pretty much want to see on most engines. I'm not saying specifically the Cruise. You want to see about an 11.5 to a 12-to-1 air fuel ratio. When you're running E85, what air fuel ratio are you achieving with E85? Or what is the safe air fuel ratio with E85? Yeah, sorry. I'm very interested in this conversation because I like to learn it. All right, so 11 is okay. So 11.5 is what you want on an MPFI turbo engine. 12.5 on SD. So basically, what Jerry's saying is non-direct injected engine you want an 11.5. On a direct injection engine you want a 12 point. So wait. So why do you want a 12.5 on a direct injection engine? So wait, but if you're running leaner to avoid detonation, what happens to the cylinder charge? So for example, if you're running richer, you have a cooler detonation. So what happens when you're running lean? It does make it hotter. I guess the intercooler would help with that. I guess that makes sense. Oh yeah, I guess that makes sense. That does make a little more sense. So 85 turn. So so all right. So basically, when you're running, so on the E85, right? So with E85, when you're running, when you're trying to achieve your air fuel ratios, what is too lean for an E85 car? Yeah, because I noticed you guys haven't seen the footage yet, but my when I finished doing the big turbo and I brought the car to the dyno, while it was on the dyno, the engine was pinging really bad. So like my car's running really lean. Like I was getting now I'm non E85. I'm regular gasoline, 93 octane with the big turbo. My car was pinging and the air fuel ratio was like a 13.5 on the dyno. That's got to be to me that's too lean. And again, I'm not questioning you. I'm just curious. Yeah, it's my car's 13.5 to 1. In fact, I had to put a ton of octane booster in my car just to get it back to a more rich condition. And then when the octane booster was gone, it went right back up to being lean again. I hate to say it, but I got to get back. Hey, thanks for coming. I appreciate that. Thank you. Let's see. The car has overtemps built in. So once it get hot, actually the car on the dyno was running so hot the exhaust actually turned red and it melted the guy's floor. It's running. I've been waiting. Actually, I want to talk to you through email. I've been waiting to hopefully have a tune sent back because the car was running. The car was running really lean. I mean, during that time, the car was running incredibly lean. When it was on the dyno, I was looking. I was able to see the car because I wasn't allowed to be in the room, but I was able to look under the car, and under the front of the car, I was actually seeing bright red on the exhaust. It was glowing. That usually means it's incredibly lean. And the tuner, he brought me into the shop, or not the tuner, like he's a tuner, but he's not a tuner on cruises. He just has a dyno. He brought me in the shop and he showed me the floor where the exhaust was aimed. It literally melted his floor. Uh, that's how hot the exhaust was. Let's see, but once it gets hot, so I know. So when you say the car has overtemps built in, um, let's see, you need 30% more than gas. So when you say the car has overtemps built in, is it mostly like during driving all day, or is it mostly on the initial startup? Because I know I've asked you before. Basically, when the car runs a certain way, like when it's cold, it sounds awesome, and I know when it's cold, I guess it has maybe different timing and stuff to help warm the engine up faster. Is that where the overtemps are built in, or is the overtemp built in pretty much all the time, Jerry? Uh, let's see. So you said commented air fuel ratio on your tune is 14 to 7 at idle and part throttle, and power enrichment is 0.87 until 2000 RPM. Wait, when you say 0.87, are you talking about what is that again? How do you say that? Styometric? Is that what it is? Styometric? And then you're saying 12.0. So I'm assuming you want to see a 12 to 1 air fuel ratio. Oh, Lambda. That's it. I'm sorry. I couldn't think of the name. Lambda. So Lambda is 87. So on my car, I've been seeing an average of 12.8 to 13.5 full throttle. Let's see. Mine goes to 71 from third gear on up. So 71. So wait. So is 71? Let me see. 72 is 12. So is 71 richer or leaner? I'm thinking backwards now, right? So a 71 would be richer, right, Andrew? Right? Does that mean is that like a 10? So yeah, but you know what? I test the exhaust on my Cobra, right? So my Cobra when it heats, so the exhaust heats up red sometimes when I'm full throttle because that has a completely different engine in it, of course, a different animal. But the exhaust heats up cherry red at like 800 degrees. So if the overheat protection's at 925 degrees, oh, it's Celsius, you said, right? 925 Celsius. What is that in Fahrenheit? Hold on a sec. Storage is 17. Let me see. I want to see 900, or is that a typo? Is it 900 degree 925 Celsius or 925 Fahrenheit? Let me see here. 925 Celsius. So 925 degrees Celsius is almost 1700 degrees. Is that what you mean, Jerry? Is 925 mean 1700 degrees? I'm just curious because you're teaching me now and I want to learn. So this is pretty fun actually. Oh, cool. You know what? Next time I do a live stream, I would love it if you're on here because I enjoy this. I'm really enjoying learning live from you. Wow. So okay. So even though so let me ask you this. So is it so at 1700 degrees, right? I'm noticing the bumper on my car started giving off a burning smell, like plastic burning. I know I know for example that that's probably a bad thing to notice. But I guess it might be normal if you're running a big turbo, possibly. You said yeah, but I don't think you're answering my question. I think you're answering the Lambda question that Andrew asked. Let's see. So when your primary oxygen sensor sees 1700 degrees, it will richen the air-fuel ratio to cool itself off. Oh, so yeah, so 71 is a little richer. Yeah, see that's what. So now that I'm see, here's the thing. So now that I've been watching my air-fuel ratios, I haven't gotten a straight answer over what the air-fuel ratio should be in our cruises, which is why if you guys have seen my other live streams, I don't have a set air fuel ratio that I can tell anybody is a safe air fuel ratio, because there are people that have like a 12.5 to 1. There's people that have a 10.5 to 1. There's people that have an 11.5 to 1. And there's people that run air fuel ratio gauges just like me to confirm it. So that's why I don't really know, like when people are telling me like, hey, you know, what's a good air fuel ratio? It's really tough to answer that question. So for me, I would like to target like nothing above a 12 to 1. I want no above a 12 to 1, nothing above a 12 to 1. So let's see. It's what you want to see on a Gen 2. So actually, Jerry, let me ask you this. So on a 12.5 to 1, right, with a big turbo, is 12.5 to 1 a stock engine and also big turbo? Hey, sorry about that. My camera was letting me know the battery is dying, so I pretty much only have about maybe 10 or 15 more minutes before this thing dies. But what did I ask, Jerry? I had a question for you. Oh, Jerry, so basically on a factory cruise with a tune, right? A 12.5 to 1 air fuel ratio is definitely what you might want to see. But on a big turbo with a tune, is that also 12.5? Like, are both cars 12.5? And sorry about the resolution. I think the camera's finally coming back on. Give me a sec. Let me see here. All right. Yeah, sorry guys. You're starting to lose me because my camera's dying. In order to hear me, I have to unplug the camera in order to hook up the microphone, unfortunately. But I might be shutting down this live stream soon. You should be seeing. Jerry, can you do me a favor? Can I talk to you tonight in email or maybe on chat on the Facebook chat, just so I can go over these air fuel ratios? Because I tried talking about the car being lean, and I really need to talk again because there are no boost leaks, and my car's manual. I don't know how many big turbo manuals are there out there. That's one thing I don't know, actually. I don't know if I feel like I'm the only one, at least based on everybody I talk to. I'm not saying I am. And guys, I'm sorry about this resolution. Let me see if I can change that. Oh, if anybody has a resolution problem, go to your settings on your phone or your computer, and you can actually click 720p, and it'll come right back. For me, it wasn't because it changed it to a lower resolution because I disappeared. Yeah, Jerry, I definitely want you to email me because I've been trying to get this squared away, and I've been sort of, let's see, I don't know numbers on those. You're probably the only turbo bay manual, and it doesn't matter as it's still a big wheel stock housing. See, it is a big wheel stock housing, but it's the only manual with the large housing. Like, it's a bigger housing than he's ever done before. It's a custom turbo. And to be honest with you, I think that's why the car's running lean, because I could be wrong. Jerry, I don't know how you tune it. I could be wrong, but I think the car is running lean because there's more air going into the computer than what the other turbos produce. And that's why I was trying to get, maybe if you can enrich in, when we're wide open throttle on my car, if you can enrich in the wide open throttle table a little bit, I think it'll fix the problem. And that would be awesome if I can definitely talk to you about it, because I really, really would love to get that car running into a ratio that is safer, because it's way too lean. I haven't driven the car, to be honest with you. It's just sitting there because I'm waiting to get a tune. Or actually, what I was waiting to do is get my methanol injection, because the car was so lean that, let's see. Air coming in. Okay. Oh yeah, no guys, I'm gonna wait for him to I want everybody to see this because for those of you that don't know, Jerry actually owns Bad News Racing. So anybody who doesn't know that Jerry actually is the one that does a lot of the tunes. So I want you to hear what he says because he knows a lot about this. Quick rundown. So I'll read it out loud if no one can see it. So he says to give you a quick rundown, and I may have to send multiple messages, so bear with me. He said the mass airflow sensor measures the air coming in. The oxygen sensor measures it going out. Yes. He drives. As long as you don't lose air in between the sensors, the amount of air it can hold doesn't matter. Yes. Okay. So actually, he might touch on this, but when I was talking to him previously, he said that the computer doesn't actually have a wideband sensor built in. So when he's tuning these, um, he could only do so much with the General Motors computer, which is why I was hoping if I can get you, we can change the tune to enriching. So basically, I don't know how you do it on your end, but if you can just enrich in my wide open throttle just a little bit more so we can get the air fuel ratio to come down into a safer range was what I really wanted to happen. I just decided to go the methanol route because I can adjust it on the fly. Let's see, we dial our air fuel ratios here on our cars on the dyno. Let's see. So he said, as long as you don't lose air in between the two sensors, the amount of air it can hold doesn't matter. Let's see. That's correct. So he asked. So I had asked about the wideband. So he said, yes, that's correct. There's only narrow band sensors, and then we dial in the AFRs on our cars on the dyno. So just so you guys know, so when he gives you a tune, and I talked to a lot of people about like the tuner, where is that thing here? So I talked to a lot of people about this. So basically, when he sends you your tune, he gives you this, and what he wants you to do is actually do a data log and send it back to him. What he's doing is making sure that the tune he gave you isn't causing any problems. So when you send him a data log, he can see what's going on. He has no way to confirm your fuel ratio because obviously he's not next to the car. Let's see, Jerry. Yes, with meth, the car will add some amount of fuel. Yeah, so that's what I was going to do. I had built a methanol injection system, so what I was going to do is, since it was running in the 13s, I was going to adjust my methanol to get it to like a 12 flat or like an 11.9, and that's why I really wasn't bothering you anymore. But since you're here, I figured I would just bring it up because, I know you're a busy guy, because I know you're very busy because, you put out the E85 tunes, and I'm sure you have an influx of people who want it, and you're doing a bunch of like data logging and stuff with them. So I don't want to be a pain in the butt. And I know you're busy, and I know I ask a lot of questions. I just want to make sure I have stuff right. So let's see, with a meth. Yeah, so Summit, yeah, you're someone that I talked to about your air fuel ratio. So you're at 11.5, and I talked to a couple other people that are like 12 flat. So every time I talk to somebody, I just don't know what the air fuel ratio should be on these cars, and I said it a bunch of times. So let's see. I've done like 385 tunes in the last week. Yeah, I know. Like, so literally, I realized that. So when I started my big turbo, it was in the winter, and when I was bothering you about a tune, it was before E85 came out. So now that the E85 came out, I understand why you're busy, and I'm trying not to bother you. But since you're here, I figured I'd talk about it. Let's see. That's why I don't have the spacer numbers. Yeah, Jerry, I'm glad you're here. In the future, I would love to do something like this where it's just me and you talking about stuff because, I'm somebody who likes these cars and I like sharing information and talking to everybody. But when it comes to certain things, I just don't have the answer. So I would go to you for the answer. In a couple of my videos, I came to you because I wanted the right information. And, I had asked you about different videos I was shooting. So I wanted to make sure I had that information correct. And same thing with this, like the E85. Like, I only know so much about E85. And to be honest with you, I'm not against E85. I just can't get E85 here. Let me just check something. I want to see my camera's battery power. Oh, I can't see it. So I think we're gonna lose me soon. So I'm gonna say goodbye very soon because I don't want to be disrespectful and have this thing just cut off on you guys. But so just in case I disappear tonight, I'm gonna apologize ahead of time. But yeah, so Jerry, I definitely want to I want to get in touch with you this week, especially since you popped on because I really like that you came on. Yeah, Summit is a Gen 2, Jerry. He has I think a 2017, and he is tuned and he has a cold air intake as well. And he also has a wastegate and I think that's what his mods are. Oh, and he has the he actually I saw his car recently. We just put it on an intercooler, and yeah, he was showing me his air fuel ratios. Those were his numbers. So Jerry, with your tune, will you see? Oh, 2016. Sorry, Summit. So Jerry, with your tune, right? When you see the 12 and a half, do you have your tune set up so it's just going to hit 12 and a half and as the RPMs range, or are you going to see like a 10 and then it's going to rise up to the 12 and a half or lower to the 12 and a half? No, rise up. Just so I know when I'm talking to somebody what they should be looking for. Let's see. Check Facebook DMs. Okay. Let's see. Oh dang! I just realized that. Yeah, Jerry, I'll touch base with you shortly. As soon as this is done, I'm gonna probably hop on and say hi real quick. Dang! I just realized that. All right, so I think what I'm gonna do is we've been at this for over an hour. I'm probably gonna end soon. Jerry, if there's anything else you wanted to say, please feel free to type anything right now. And actually, anyone, feel free to ask or ask a question or say anything before I hang up on everyone because I want to say hi or I want to say goodbye properly. Sorry, I'm reading a bunch of stuff all at once. I have too many things open. But let's see. So it's 95 until around 95 on Lambda. So 95. I don't know Lambda. So 95 on Lambda would be rich. No, 95 on Lambda would be like a 15, right? Ish. And then you want to see it target an 80. No, an 87 to an 81. And then you want to see it at most target like an 81, basically. No less than an 81, which would be like a 12 to 1 air fuel ratio. Okay. Yeah, I'm glad you're pointing that out. It's been a while since I had to think about Lambda. I'm glad you're here. So guys, anybody who's on here, and this is what I've been saying recently too, is you guys have asked me about Bad News Racing, which I always talk about how much I love their tuner and stuff. But they're very busy with the E85 because they want to get this correct, and I'm glad he's here talking about it actually. Oh, let's see. Thanks, Jerry. Yeah, you're damn right. Hopefully, me saying that isn't gonna get the video taken down. We can do Crackle Tune for the Sonics. Yeah, Crackle Tune. Actually, Crackle Tune's pretty interesting. It's basically here. Wait, you guys are gonna get a crappy microphone, but now I'm charging, so you're not gonna lose me. So it was letting me know that it was at 5%. Sorry about the microphone, but I'm really enjoying this live stream today. I'm having a lot of fun. Um, what is this? Oh, okay, let's see. They sell a battery pack you can get, and it lets you plug in for live streams. Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out these live streams. It's something I've been practicing over the last few weeks, and I'm still trying to figure out. Like, I was trying to find a way to do the microphone and charge, and every adapter I had just didn't work right. So now it's either like I at least want to give you guys good audio, which is why I was worried, which is why I've been using battery power. But right now, since it's at the end, at least you guys have good video, and the microphone I know is a little more muffled, but at least you can. It's adequate. In fact, you just said it. I don't remember the last thing I was saying to you, so sorry I dropped out real quick. But The problem hasn't finished its drive cycle yet. The mic is good enough. Let's see. Jerry for the win. Okay, alphabet. Cool. Yeah, I'm glad you're here. So I think I was in the middle of saying that in the future it would be really cool to have you come back again because there are some subjects that I know. See, you know this much about certain things, and I know this much about certain things, right? But on the things that I know this much about, it's fun if you're here so we can talk about it together. But I know you probably work like 12-hour days. Coming on a live stream at night might be exhausting for you, but I appreciate you coming out tonight, which is great. This is a lot of fun. I actually enjoyed this. And I'm on battery power now, so I could talk for a little bit. Let's see, I'm going to be out shortly. Gonna hit the pool. Yeah, I'm pretty jealous of that. What's the temperature down by you? It's getting pretty cold by me. We're still we have sorta lingering winter weather. So wait, so nobody answered what their favorite Adam Sandler movie is? No one. What do we have? What does everybody like? What's their favorites? Close to 90. Oh, that's nice. I wish it was 90 by me. 80 and muggy. Yeah, for me it was a little warm in the middle of the day, and now it dropped to like 30. No, it shouldn't say 30. Maybe like 45. It's like 45 out right now, and then it got a little muggy because there was supposed to be a little rain, and then it didn't come, so it was like humid, sort of humid, and then got cold again. It's a weird temperature. Big Daddy, that's a good one. Water Boy, I like those. Happy Gilmore, solid choices. I was thinking about Happy Gilmore the other day. You know, every once in a while when I'm working in the shop, I have the radio off because I'm filming, and I think of movie quotes all the time. So a lot of his movies pop into my head. Let's see, 51st Date. That's one of my favorites, and I think I like. You Can Do It. I think I like. What's the other one? Oh, Blended is another good one with the two of them. I really like Blended. Let's see, Gen 2. It did it last time like a year ago, and I put cleaner in, and it reset the whole computer. I'm gonna wait 2 weeks. Clean the O2 set. You know, one thing I noticed, Adam. You know what I should ask you is your air filter on your cold air intake. How long has it been in the car? Because I noticed the air filters on this. So basically, the mass airflow sensors on these cars are very, very sensitive. So if you have a really dirty air filter and your intake tube is very dirty, you could be just getting your mass airflow sensor dirty. And that could be causing your problem, possibly. I found out that my Cruise just needs to be left alone because it's a diesel and there isn't any support like wheels and coilovers. Actually, I think the coilovers may fit. Wheels, yeah, you have like a 5 by 115. I think a 5 by 115 bolt pattern, and I think there might be some Mustang wheels that might fit, maybe. I think the Mustang is like a 5 by 114.3, which is like that close to 5 by 115, maybe. Yeah, it is 5 by 115. I know when I had people asking me about the big brake kits, the first thing I ask is, are you diesel or are you gasoline? Because my big brake kits are for the 5 by 105 bolt pattern. Let's see, I had a few people asking about the P0420 code. No professional tuning company will shut that code off. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, I wouldn't shut that code off either because you know what? Well, I wouldn't just shut it off because if you have a problem, you could be running your engine lean and not realize it. That's why that code is there. I would assume, Jerry, please correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that code to protect the engine? I mean, if you have an exhaust leak, or you have an intake leak, or you have a mass airflow sensor problem, that your air fuel ratios cannot be correct. And if that's the case, you might cause problems to your engine. Oh, that code pops up with a catalyst downpipe. That makes sense. Yeah, EPA has been nuts. Jerry, I won't even talk about exhaust on my videos because of the EPA. They're going crazy. They find PFI speed in, I think they're in Florida now, for selling like Honda computers because they came from China or something like that. Like Like even with the like they have the ability to run emissions and stuff, but because it was a Chinese thing or something like that, they used emissions, and they were able to fine them like I don't know, it was like $1,500 per computer they sold. It's nuts. Catalyst low efficiency. Yeah, so like catalyst low efficiency. So I'm doing a live stream right now, so I can't think it straight. So catalyst low efficiency, basically, it's going to catch the catalytic converter before it starts going bad. Let's see. They rated my buddies at Lund Racing. Wow, really? Oh, Jerry, is that the guy that had the Mustang shop? I think I might have heard about that. His family and everything was there too. I could be wrong, but I could swear that I might have heard something. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's yeah, that's what I thought. I did hear about that. I don't know if I heard about it from you, but I definitely heard about it. Maybe I did hear about it from you. Yeah, I wonder why they did that actually. I think his family, if memory serves, I think his family was in the shop too, and they're like walking around with machine guns and stuff. Uh, well, technically an AR-15 isn't a. Well, let's not talk about guns. Actually, the fact that I even said that might even get me in trouble on YouTube. That's how crazy it is. So wait, I thought HP tuners was legal. See, isn't H so? Cause it, so okay, so HP tuners. I thought that HP tuners, yes, you can shut a lot of stuff off, but I thought the new version of it, there's certain things that permanently can't be shut off, and it's now legal. I could be wrong. Again, I'm not a tuner. This is why I always bug you. 60 miles per gallon. I'm jealous. I'm only getting 19 miles per gallon. Jerry D. If you want horsepower, don't be going after miles per gallon. That's for sure. Yeah, that's another thing, Jerry. A lot of people talk to me about miles per gallon, and really, if you're going after horsepower, miles per gallon, you know, I get it. It's sort of something that you shouldn't be looking for, but it is nice if you can keep 40 miles per gallon while having all the modifications. Technically, all car modes are legal. Yeah, I guess, right? I guess. Technically, yes. Can you tune to a specific octane number? All tunes and intakes and injectors and all exhausts. Yeah, technically, and I guess in whatever state you're in, it could be a worse situation for you. Like if you're in California, I know just changing the file is illegal. Anything that affects air fuel ratios into or out of the engine or fuel. Yeah, that makes sense. So basically, well, I guess if it's carb legal, like in California, right? For example, like one of my first videos was I showed how to modify the factory airbox, and when I modified the factory airbox, I'm still using factory parts. So technically, it's not illegal. So like in California, you can get away with it. But if you take a cold air intake and make it from scratch, I guess technically that's illegal. But if you put a cold air intake on your car that's carb legal in California, technically it should be legal everywhere else, I would think. No vehicle that ever had a VIN can be converted into a race car. Yeah, that's what I thought. See, that's the problem with the EPA, right? So I have a green Corvette with work done to it. It's completely legal, passes emissions, has catalytic converters, has a factory exhaust. So because it's a fancy looking car, the EPA can go, hey, that's a race car, before they even test the computer. That's why I don't like how they say that. I don't like that they're like, oh, that's anything's converted into a race car. But it's a car I just drive around. It's not a race car. It's a car I like. It's a car I made look cool. What's considered a race car now? That's my problem with it. Yeah. So wait, so in the future, I think you were telling me once when I first met you about 2 years ago, to do carb tunes, because there are ways of doing it. To do a carb tune, I guess the every tune has to be carb certified. Is that how it works, or something like that? So basically, like if someone wanted to tune legally, you would write a tune, then it would have to go to California, have them, I guess, give it a code or a carb number, and then you can give it to a person. And I guess that's how you can do it legally, maybe. I'm asking you because you're a tuner and I'm not. Uh, let's see. Yeah, so look at a Diablo Sport for a perfect example to your questions. Okay. Oh, look at a Diablo Sport. Okay, I'll look into that. Yeah, so Jerry, so there's a reason that I know I email you a lot. Oh, wait, they sell HP tuners that come with tunes made by Diablo Sport, and they are all. Oh, see, okay, that makes sense. Each tune has a carb EO. So yeah, so technically, in the future, I mean, look, Jerry. Here's one of the reasons I like your tunes. This is what I tell a lot of people, right? A lot of times a conversation comes up, Bad News Racing versus Trifecta. Uh, you guys are sort of close in price, I think, or maybe Trifecta might be a little cheaper, right? Some people might want to go Trifecta because they're trying to save money. Some people might go with Bad News Racing because they want the quality tune, right? I always say go Bad News Racing for one main reason. You have a scanner that comes here. Here. It's right here. It's always by my computer because I'm always data logging, right? So you have this. This is also a fantastic scan tool that lets you data log and lets you see live data, right? You technically could do carb legal tunes with that. So in the future, if it's going to cost somebody a little bit more money, but it's a legal tune, I'm okay with that. I would be okay with that. And I think the community would be okay with that because if the EPA starts overreaching, we're still going to want to modify our cars, but we don't also want to be criminals. So I would be okay with that. I just don't know what something like that would cost. In fact, I don't know if that's something you want to talk about via email or something just for fun. I'm really curious about this because I cannot stand the fact that the EPA gets to do this. Because last I checked, we live in a democracy and we should be allowed to vote. We should be allowed to vote for these things, and it seems like the votes are there against it, but it doesn't seem to be going anywhere, and that's my problem. Let's see. So say I get a Gen 2 tune carb EO that someone needs a math correction for an intake, and you make a tune, it's illegal. Okay, so but at least at a minimum, you can do one legal aftermarket tune and one legal like big turbo tune for everybody and one legal math correction tune. I mean, it's going to get a little muddy, but at the same time it can be made to make the EPA happy, I would think. Let's see. The problem with me getting a carb exemption for my tunes is waiting on the waiting list for. Oh wow, you've been waiting 7 years. Wow, wow. See that I didn't know. See that's the thing. So like okay. So for example, I know SEMA. I think it's SEMA and Haggerty are now creating companies to sort of battle EPA, and I wonder if getting on board with them will help streamline some of the process. No, I'm not, and actually, I should be. I want to be. Um, in fact, Jerry, I'd like to talk to you more. I know you and I are always both working a lot, and I would love to talk to you more about some stuff. But um, I want to join SEMA, especially with what I do. I think I need their protection too in the future because all of my builds technically are legal. They are legal, but in the future, I don't want any problems. Oh, that's not bad actually. $50 a year. Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. I do get some of their updates because I am part of their list of like people like whenever something's going on in the industry, I do get to know some stuff, but I want to know a little further about this and maybe to get future help because they're the ones that are trying to push the RPM Act, and I think the RPM Act is very important. Like I'm okay with the EPA wanting to clean things up, but don't turn a kid working in his driveway on his grandpa's old Mustang into a criminal. That's what drives me crazy. Let's see. I want to back Jerry's tunes are better for emissions on the factory. Yeah. I can't do diesels. The ECM is locked. Yeah, you know what? I think the reason the diesels are locked is because of Dieselgate. Unfortunately, Volkswagen screwed that up for a lot of people. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, let's see. So we can go. Well, that's the thing. So when I buy a part for my car and I put it in, I'm not I'm not putting that like that's why I have an air fuel ratio gauge. Like Jerry, you know what you're doing. But I have an air fuel ratio gauge just in case maybe my intake leaks. Or maybe my catalytic converter goes bad. Or maybe my turbo's starting to go bad and I want to catch a lean or rich condition ahead of time. When I modify cars, I'm not assuming it's Jerry's fault. I'm assuming it's the part's fault or my fault because either maybe I didn't do something right or maybe something's failing. A lot of people unfortunately like to point fingers and go sue happy, which is maybe why the EPA exists. Um, I really, the RPM Act, I'm going to put a link in this live stream in the future. Anybody who's watching this, there will be a link to vote for the RPM Act. Like we want, if you're a car person, even if you're the kind of person that just likes rims and tires, you should be voting to pass the RPM Act because it protects car people. Us, but you know, even down to like, if you want to go to your local drift track, where are you going to get a car to drift? Like, you know, you could build a drift car for maybe $5,000, right? Well, now if you can't build a car into a race car, that means you can't build a drift car. Where are you going to get one? What are you going to do? You're going to spend $80,000 on a race built car. Where is this stuff going to come from? Now, anybody who has any technical know-how, where they're going to evolve their craft on being able to tinker and build things. So, where are they going to learn? The EPA is making it so anybody who has the ability to be inspired to work with their hands basically can't do it anymore. What are they going to do? That's what drives me crazy. Wait, why do I need a name? It's not like I'm using this account. Oh, you've commented before. I love that. Let's see. Jerry's tunes have been bulletproof for me. Changed my cruise complete. Oh, 100%. Wait, but let's see. Oh, hold on. Jerry, you should definitely run a wideband on any car. It will cool you. Yeah, exactly. I always put widebands on. My fear with a wideband, though, is if a wideband goes bad and it's reading wrong. That is one thing that I do worry about. So thanks for the kind words on the tuning. I'm not exaggerating all when I tell you we spent over a year developing it. No, that I believe. Look, when I did my first video on your tune, so so a canned tune, like so basically a canned tune would be something in a tuner box. I didn't know what kind of upgrade I was going to be noticing with the car. I put your tune in my car, and I will tell you, it drugged me. It transformed my car. I was so excited when I did it that I made a video about it, and I've had a lot of people come forward telling me like, "Oh my God, I didn't realize that Bad News Racing tunes are that good." So I love the tune for the factory cars. I love the tunes that you have for like the Bad News Racing Turbo. I love the tune you have for the Turbo Bay. My car needs a little bit of, like, we need some adjustments because it's the bigger turbo, and I can't wait to get another file from you. The fact that you can do that is amazing, and the fact that you can transform the cruise with literally typing on a keyboard is amazing, and I'm glad you developed it because I really do stand behind the product. I love it. Let's see. I want to make sure I have everyone's questions still. Tunes are better than the factory. RPM Act. Yeah, let's see. So RPM Act, like, I'm going to put a link in the description of this video for people who are watching later on. People who are watching later on, I want to know that you can literally click on a link and you can send into your local congressperson. You could actually vote to pass the RPM Act. Now, even though it's kind of bouncing back and forth between not being passed and being passed, it is something we can still get passed. And that's why everybody needs to vote. Even if you, honestly, what's to stop a cop from going, see those aftermarket wheels? You have a race car, and now the EPA gets to impound your car. It's we give them an inch, they're going to take a mile, and that's why I can't stand it. Oh, let's see. That's why it's only us and Trifecta offering Gen 2 tunes. They're hard to tune. I could believe that. Outside of the tune, the parts developed is awesome. I love the wastegate. Yeah, you know, Jerry, a lot of people tell me about they want me to get the intake spacer because they want me to do a video. I just haven't gotten around to doing it because I want to get the car running. I want to get the correct air fuel ratio first before I start changing other parts, because I don't want to have the car running lean and then change something to add more horsepower and then have something that might cause another problem. I like to get the car running at the right air fuel ratio before I do it, but eventually I'm going to get your I want to get your intake manifold spacer, and I'm thinking about doing the throttle body spacer because of the methanol injection. Because I have one way of doing it on my intake pipe for my intercooler, but I was thinking of maybe doing a throttle body spacer for people who don't want to do it in the intercooler pipe. I have a couple ways I was thinking of doing it, but I heard that the throttle body spacer actually increases download torque, which is nice. Anybody? Actually, Jerry, you know what? You just brought up a good point. I need to ask you a question. I have a lot of people asking me about your wastegate actuator, and from what I can tell, I'm going to do this backwards for me. When you're adjusting preload on your wastegate actuator, basically it's going to shorten the rod, and on your wastegate actuator, it's linear now. So basically there's no more springs. You have one spring with a variable spring rate, and the more preload basically adds spring tension. It's a little bit different than like a Mamba. So so on your preload, right? So let's say somebody just put your wastegate in. How much preload? So basically, preload would be, let's do it like this, the circle, right? How much circle should be showing before someone stretches that rod over to the arm on the turbo? I basically tell people most of the time to go with like a 4 to 6 millimeters, basically the gap. Start there and see if you get any codes, and then work your way. You know, we have to see what kind of codes. You might get lean, might get rich, or I'm sorry, you might get low boost, you might get high boost, or it might be perfectly fine because every turbo is different. Where is the starting point on your actuator actually? Yeah, I like the idea of having the meth port with the intake spacer. You know, it's funny. Wait, let's see. We actually recommend to start at zero preload. Okay, so guys, I'm going to read this out loud just in case the chat that's here might not be around later, which is why I keep reading all these things. So I'm going to read it out loud. Jerry said, we usually recommend starting at a zero preload. So basically, the rod will be directly under the arm, okay? And then he says where we'll go on and off the arm with zero pull. And then he wants to do basically a 1 to a 1.5 turn tighter. So basically, you're going to start under the arm. You're going to do one full turn and then a half turn. And that's going to bring the rod in, shortening it, and it's going to add preload on the spring. So, if you're getting an underboost code, you might need a little bit more preload, and if you're getting an overboost code, you might need a little less preload, I think. Hopefully, I think Jerry may have left. Possibly, someone said Jerry has left the chat. I don't know if he left or the other Jerry left. But at least I know now, because I did send an email out, but I know you guys are busy and I can't get a response. Oh, okay, you said it. So, okay, good. Okay, I want to make sure I have that correct, because, Jerry, some people think I work for your company, so they ask me questions like I'm an employee. So in order to help with your workload, I do answer some questions, because if I know the answer, I will answer it. Like scanner questions. Like a lot of times people are asking me like how can I get the file onto the scanner so I could send you a data log, and a lot of times I show them how to get the thing into thumb drive mode so they can get the file off the scanner and send it to you. Hopefully that helps you. I mean, I do try to help everybody as much as possible. And it is nice because a lot of people try and help me too, which is great. So okay, so so basically, if you had somebody, one thing I ask people if they're having preload problems is check the actual arm on the turbo, because what I've been noticing is the arm on the not the rod, the actual arm on the turbo that controls the wastegate. I'm noticing some turbos have a lot of slop, and I'm thinking you might need more preload because you have a turbo that's worn. Or a wastegate that's worn, and that's why other people might need a little bit more. So it gets confusing sometimes. Everybody equates. See, some people with a Mamba might be using the Bad News Racing preload. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, all right. Hold on, guys. I want to read this out loud. So if you're helping people, he's referring to me. Keep this in your pocket too. There's an SD card at the bottom of the AutoCal that is internal. Oh, I didn't even know that. I'm glad you said that. Okay, so guys, if you have a tune file that you want to put on your scanner, you can plug the SD card into your computer, or if you have a data log you want off your scanner, you can take out the SD card and put it on your computer. I didn't even know that. That's pretty cool. Okay, that's something new. And another thing I saw pop up is somebody had a weird code. It was a $sign. Basically, they updated their scanner. I don't know if you want to keep going with Bad News Racing questions. I'm actually enjoying this. But again, it's to help you. So let's see. So he also said you can take it apart from the back and pop it back. And just be careful. Oh, he's telling me where the... Okay, so on the back of the scanner, here. I have this in front of me. Let's see. Are you talking about the scanner? Hold on, let me read this again. So... you can take it apart and from the back, pop it back and be careful with the connector on the AutoCal. Oh, you're okay. So basically, if somebody can't get the file, you're saying to actually physically unscrew this and take the SD card out of it. That's what it seems like. Which I guess if that's a last resort is a good idea. I didn't even know that was in there. Just so you guys know, this is a Torx bit. You might be able to get away with an Allen wrench. So there is an SD card in here. It would have been cool if you could pop it out, but I tell you what, I have scanner. Oh, oh, I didn't even know that. So basically, oh guys, I want you to know this too. So I saw somebody ask a question about a dollar sign. So if you've got a dollar sign error on your scanner, it might be because your SD card might have an error. It could be because the SD card fell out too, possibly. I know, like I have some scanners, not Bad News Racing ones, but I have some scanners with an SD card that sometimes I'll drop the scanner, it just pops right out. So it's probably a good thing that it's inside the case. But oh, and I fix it screwdriver will work. Okay, cool. Um, so it's probably a good thing it's in here. So if you ever get one of those errors with a dollar sign, probably take this apart. Be careful, because Jerry also said be careful of the connector going to the screen. You don't want to mess it up. But then you can probably pop the SD card out and pop it into your computer. And I guess I didn't even think of that. I guess maybe I saw somebody once had a busted screen 'cause they dropped theirs. I guess you can maybe swap out a screen for some, like Jerry. If somebody had a broken one and they bought somebody else's scanner, can they take the screen and change the screen and be able to get a new screen with their tunes, or is the screen also the brain? I'm just curious. Yeah, or yeah, pop the SD back in the slot. That's what I guess. If you got a dollar sign, it just might be a connection on the SD card. I wish it was on the side just to show you guys. I don't want to take this thing apart right now. I don't want you to wait 20 minutes for me to find a screwdriver. It'd be kind of weird just looking at my office. But yeah, cool. Okay, I'm glad you're here, Jerry. I definitely want you to come on more often. Let's see on the screen. I think that would work. Oh, cool. Okay. So all right. So Jerry answered that. So basically, I know someone who busted their screen. I want to say about 8 months ago. I saw it, and they were trying to get another person's EFI Live scanner. I think Jerry took care of them under warranty at the time, but just in case you're out of warranty and you have a broken screen, you might be able to pick up someone else's scanner. I usually see him for about $50 to $100, and then you can take. Oh, there you go, $80 to fix the screen. So he can get it fixed for you. Let's see. Jerry said if you're ever in need, AutoCal fixed. So wait, let me read this again. I'm sorry. If you're ever in need, AutoCal fixed SoCal Diesel in Cali is an EFI Live repair shop. That is definitely really cool. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna copy and paste this so I don't lose it. Um, I'm gonna put it in the. I have to figure out where I can put it so I don't. Oh, I'm gonna put it in my stuff that I have up here. That way, I'm gonna put it into the data. I'm gonna put it into the description of the video. So if you guys ever have an EFI Live broken screen, you know where to go. Cool. All right, guys. So I'm really enjoying this conversation, but I've been at this for about 2 hours, and I think I'm gonna call it quits tonight. Jerry, I'm really glad you're here. I actually really enjoy this. I'm gonna send you an email. Maybe we could have like a Bad News Racing live chat. That would be fun. Or a Bad News. Maybe I'll do a chat and you come back on again. This is great. Because when it comes to E85, I'm a meth injection guy. I know a lot about meth injection. When it comes to E85, uh, I know enough to know about it, but you know this much about it, and I'm glad you're here. Because when it comes to tuning, I know nothing about it. I know, and explaining how it burns. I got it wrong when you were first explaining it because I was reading what you were saying sort of backwards. Because I was thinking on the go, but I'm glad I understood it a little more now. It does make a lot more sense now. I really wish I had E85 because I really want to play around with that tune. I wish I had it near me, but I'm going with the meth injection route. And I'm gonna obviously, because what I'm gonna do when I get the meth injection going is I'm gonna send you a data log so you can double check everything. Although I'm realizing that since it's narrowband, um, Jerry, one last question before I go. Is there a way in your data log that with my wideband scanner has a data link built into it? Is there a way for your EFI Live that I can plug my air fuel ratio gauge into your scanner? That's actually probably a really good thing to know. Because now when I send you a data log, you can actually see wideband readings. Let's see. I'm going to read this out loud. So, quick facts from Jerry. E85 burns cooler than gasoline. That's awesome. It's more resistant to pre-detonation, okay, and requires 30% more of it to make the same energy. Yeah, there is a way. All right, guys, wait. This is important before I go. Okay, so I have in my car the AEM. No, no, I have the Pro Comp. I have the Pro Comp air fuel ratio wideband in my car. There is wires for me to be able to hook it up to like HP tuners. What would it take for me to be able to get my wideband hooked into your scanner? Is there, like for example, on the scanner, we have this, it looks like a USB port, and up here it looks like some data log connectors. Is there something that I can send you wideband readings that we can get to work? The reason I want to know this is because in the future, anybody running like an air fuel ratio gauge and getting tunes done there that's doing something that you've never messed with before, or they're having a problem, you can see actual wideband readings, which should help your tuning be a little better for that specific car. Oh wait, hold on. Let's see. There's a patch serial cable. Oh, I didn't even know that. Oh, you guys are awesome. You know what, Jerry? And I'm gonna read your name too. Why do I need a name? Not like I'm using this account for producing content. That is your actual name, and it's awesome. And if you commented before on other videos, so you said that there is a patch serial cable that you have to order from EFI Live. I didn't know that existed. It didn't click in my brain to do that till just now, because I had a flash of when I was tuning my Corvette like 10 years ago that the wideband air fuel ratio can actually be plugged into the computer for HP tuners. I didn't think of maybe getting one for this, and then when I send you a data log, it would actually show you the wideband screen. So also you can live scan with your laptop and have the gauge cluster on the screen with whatever gauges you want. So, right. So, can I... Hold on a sec. Let me look at the connector. Oh, yeah, but the problem is this connector, I have to figure out how to adapt it to my laptop, or I guess maybe... Oh, cool. I didn't know that either. So he said they have customers who do it with Windows tablets. Oh, that's a cool idea. I'm going to figure out how to do that. I'll probably, you guys know me. I'm going to end up doing a video, and Jerry... I'll do a video, and I'm going to probably ask you about it ahead of time because I'm going to test it with you. Oh, I didn't know. Oh, I didn't realize that. So wait a minute. Hold on. So if I plug the EFI into my car and then I plug it into my laptop, how can you read wideband then? I'm just curious. Or, oh wait, are you telling me to plug the wideband in the laptop and then plug the scanner into the laptop? Or are there more tables now once I do that? Sorry, the reason I'm saying this out loud is, and I want to get it right, is that anybody watching later will know. Oh, the patch cable. Oh, okay, patch cable. Okay, I'm going to copy and paste this too. EFI Live patch cable. I'm going to look into that. So, no, Jerry, this is why I'm bringing this up. So this is the way I see it, right? You're a tuner. You're a tuner. A lot of your business are people who are basically people who have a cruise, and this might be their first mod to a car, right? I'm the guy that's in between. I understand your language, and I understand their language, right? Which is probably why people enjoy my videos. Well, I know it is. So when there's something I don't know, I want to defer to you for the correct answer. So when I make a video or I have to help somebody, I want to take the information you give me and I want to translate it, which is why I ask these questions. So data logging in general, that's cool. So basically, Jerry's saying if you get the patch cable from EFI Live, and why do I need a name? I'm just going to call you that. He is also saying the name of the cable is the patch cable. So if you get that patch cable, you can do data logging with the Bad News Racing scanner on the laptop. And if I get the patch cable, I can also do wideband data logging. So the reason, again, you're the tuner, I'm sort of in the middle, I'm the translator. I keep bringing up wideband air fuel ratios, which you also touched on as well. If you can send Jerry a data log with a wideband reading, he can give you a better tune. Let's see, you only need a patch cable for wideband readings, yeah. You don't need it for real-time gauges. See, so Jerry, I know. I want to say about a month ago, I kept asking about air fuel ratios, and it didn't click in my brain. This is why I stopped bugging you. I realized after your response that you can't see wideband readings. So when I'm saying my car is lean, you at the time probably didn't realize that I was actually looking at an air fuel ratio gauge. You probably just thought that I was saying it's lean because you're basing it on a non wideband reading. So ever since that email, I realized that I want to stop bothering you because if I just got meth, I can use the meth to get whatever ratio I want and I'm fine. So that's why I wanted to stop bothering you. But now I'm realizing that I should probably tell everybody, like, look, hey, because of the narrow band. So I did. So it's funny. My last live stream that I did, I was actually talking about narrow band versus wide band air fuel ratio. I'm sorry, narrow band versus wide band O2 sensors. There is a wide band sensor on the car, but there's no wide band tuning table and there's no wide band data in the scanner, so you can't actually see it. Let's see. Most of the time, people say the car is lean, but it's not actually lean. They just don't know what lean is. Yeah. So, Jerry, I realized that just now. That my car. This is what I'm saying. My car actually is lean. It's 100% lean. So I realize now when I'm telling you that my car is lean, you probably didn't realize at the time that I was actually seeing lean on my car. Like literally have a gauge showing me it's lean. And I'm glad you see that now cuz I the reason I stopped bothering you is I felt like that I know you guys are busy. 100%. I know Bad News Racing is busy. But when I was telling you my car is running lean, I was realizing that like I was probably just sounding like an annoying person who doesn't really know, and really I was actually looking at a scanner at a gauge showing me the car is lean. Um, so yeah, so now that like later I know you're busy, so I don't expect you to get back to me, but eventually I'd like to touch on the wideband. So wait, so yeah, there is no. Oh, so hold on. So okay, so there is no wideband on. So Jerry's saying there is no wideband on the cars from the factory, which is dumb. I completely agree. It's really dumb. I don't understand how the computer can't or I don't know how the computer can compensate for air fuel ratios, especially since all the different things on this car that it watches and adjusts for. Why would there be no wideband? At least maybe a table. I had thought. See, the wideband gauge that I have uses the exact same sensor as the O2 sensor that's in the exhaust by the turbo. So I just figured that there was a wideband, but no one can get to that table. Maybe. Let's see. The second gen Camaro, he goes on to say, the second gen Camaro ATS Malibu with the 2.0 direct injection, they do have a wideband. Oh, that's interesting. I wonder why. Maybe, I bet you it's because General Motors probably sells their own tune. Maybe. No, I don't know. I don't know about that. Or maybe, oh, here's why I bet. I bet you the 1.4 engine is a year. Wait, so that sensor you're using with the wideband gauge. Oh, so they okay. So wait, so Jerry went on to say, hold on, he's still talking about the sensor. He was saying something else. I'll finish that in a sec. So he goes, no, the sensor you're using with the wideband, that's obviously is a wideband, but he's saying the capability of the one on the car is not. All right, so the one on the car and my sensor both look the same, but they're different sensors. Oh, you know what it is? I guess the tip of the sensor, the way it reads, might be different. So the factory O2 sensor is way cheaper than the one you use in my car. Yeah, I think most of the money on the gauge I have is the sensor. So that's probably why. Oh, so wait, so going back to that 2.0 engine, here's probably why it has the sensor and the 1.4 doesn't. I think the 1.4 engine is a European engine and the 2.0 engine is probably an American engine. So there's different manufacturers. That's probably the only reason. It's just two manufacturers doing it in two different ways. Maybe. You might know better than me. And Jerry, I have a really cool swap coming up that I really would love you to be involved with. We'll talk about that later. Which, talking about that 2.0 gave me an idea. I was actually talking about cool engine swaps earlier. Um, I was trying to say goodbye like an hour ago, and I'm really enjoying this live stream for any other reason other than like just talking to you live. This is a lot of fun. I don't even know how many people are in the chat right now. There's still a few people on. Jerry, you know what? I have to say goodbye because even though I'm doing this live stream, I still have a family that's probably mad at me for not eating dinner because I told them I'd be done by 8 o'clock and it's almost 9. But I tell you what, this is probably going to go down as my favorite live stream because you're here, and I really enjoy that you're here, and I really want to do another one in the future. I'm going to talk to you off camera. I'm going to talk to you on Facebook, or whatever, maybe through email. I want to talk to you about something coming up. So, all right, guys, I'm just going to say goodbye. I'm going to end it here. This was awesome. I really appreciate this. I love talking about cars just as much as you guys do. Dave, keep this up. So, guys, this live stream is going to be up. The chat will not. I noticed after about a week or two, the live chat goes away, which is why I'm reading everything. So my live streams will always be on my channel. I thought this live stream was awesome. I absolutely love that Jerry showed up because I love Bad News Racing products. And I love talking to people about the, if you have a factory car, if you have a factory cruise, and you go get one of the Bad News Racing tunes, it blows my mind how it transforms the car. And it drives me crazy when I'm on one of the Facebook groups and someone's bad-mouthing a tune because they just don't know because I've never experienced a tune on a car. It is amazing. Like literally General Motors could have put Bad News Racing's tune in a factory cruise and sold it as a Cruise SS, and the way it drives would make you think you're paying a ton more money, like the value of an SS version of a cruise. They wouldn't realize that it's literally just a Bad News Racing tune, and it's that much of a difference. Like, it's amazing. So, all right, guys. So I think I'm going to say goodbye. I'm really enjoying this, but I also have a family that's getting mad at me, and I can tell by the text messages coming in that I should really get off of the live stream. So thanks again. I hope every single person that was here this week comes back again. I hope all the members of the channel come back again. Well, you guys are great. You always come. And Jerry, I really would love to see you in the future come back. Even if you're bored and just want to hang out, I absolutely love this because this was a lot of fun. Because, I know a lot, but the stuff I don't know, I really like having somebody who knows something I don't know here because it's a lot of fun talking about it. So I like learning just as much as everybody else. So thanks again. Thanks, Jerry. Thanks to everyone else. If I haven't named you by name, I apologize because there's a lot of people in here. But have a nice night, everyone.